Okay, so then, before we get down to the album review, got a couple quick things I need to do. Couple shout outs I promised to some good friends at work. So here's a quick shout out to Roger and Joe. Hi guys, hope you're doing well. But now that's done, let's move on to the album review. And today we're going to be talking about one of my most favourite albums, David Bowie's Hunky Dory. So hello and yes, welcome back to another album review, guys. Now then, it has been a while since I've done an album review, and the last one I'd done wasn't generally too positive on Steve Winwood's debut and self-titled album, so I thought I'd come back today and do an album which generally I can speak quite highly of, an album which I really enjoy. And of course, as said in the intro, it is going to be a David Bowie album. It's going to be Hunky Dory, which is a fantastic album, and really, you know, with the sad passing of David Bowie earlier this year, I really put off my reviews for David Bowie because I was planning to start doing reviews of him, as he is one of my favourite musicians. But I didn't want people to think I was kind of cashing in a bit on the passing of him, because generally I didn't want to do that. So I thought I'd put off my Bowie reviews for a bit and start them. I thought today was a good time to start it. And of course I wanted to start with an album of his which I really love. And to be honest, Bowie doesn't really have any albums I don't love. So, you know, it was pretty much picked from his entire catalogue. But anyway, I thought I'd go in with Hunky Dory. It isn't my favourite Bowie album, but definitely top 3. It is a fantastic album. So I thought this would be a great album to review. Now then, in this video, we are going to be doing the usual. I'm going to give you a bit of information on the album. We're going to go over each track individually. And while we're going over each track individually, we're also going to mark them out of 10. Then I'm going to show you my copy of the vinyl record. We're going to mark the artwork out of 10 as well. Then we're going to add up each score I've given it, divide it by the total number of scores given, and that will give us an overall mark for this album. But we're not done there, because then we're going to take that mark over to my album ranking board and see where it ranks compared to other albums. So there's a lot to do in this review, so anyway, let's get started. So anyway, David Bowie's Hunky Dory, this was his 4th studio album following this album here, The Man Who Solved the World, which is also a great album. So it's following a lot. This album was released on the 17th of December 1971. It hit number 3 in the UK, which I really think this is a number 1 worthy album. However, you know, number 3, not a bad position still. But the 2 albums which beat it out must have been incredible, is all I'm going to say. Had a new band, came in with a new band for this album, which of course would become a bit more famous later next year in 1972 on the Ziggy Stardust album, because the band will become known as the Spiders from Mars, which of course, you know, is really what they're most well known for now. So yeah, brand new band, kind of a new sound for Bowie, a bit more fresh, I think, from the first 3 albums. So anyway, this album consists of 11 tracks and had some really big hits on, which you can find on all the Bowie hits compilations, like Changes here. So anyway, let's get started. The opening track, of course, I think everyone knows this song, Changes. So it opens with this great build-up, you know, on the piano, which sounds fantastic. The lyrics are good. The lyrics are a little quite simple here. Bowie just singing about changes, about how things can change with him, how things can affect him. But anyway, when we get to the chorus, you know, the chorus is amazing. Everyone knows the chorus on this song. It's amazing. The vocals are great, and I love the doubling, especially when they get to the chorus and they start singing changes. The doubling on the vocals just works really well, gives it a bit more of an edge to what he has in the first couple verses. 10 out of 10 song. It is a fantastic song, can't go wrong with it. Then we move on to a track called Oh You Pretty Things. And this is a nice creative piano sounding song, I'd say. Until we get to the chorus, really the piano just gets you hooked. The vocals are good, the lyrics are good, but it's all down to the piano on this one. It's so creative, fun, and just a bit wacky. But it's really good. It's really interesting. And of course we do hit the chorus, and again, I think everyone will know the chorus from this song. Maybe not the first couple verses, but I think everyone will know the chorus from this track. Very fun. Again, the doubling on the vocals gives it this much more interesting edge. There's lots of fun things happening in the chorus, and again, the song overall is just great. I would say that the verses, you know, because there's about 5 verses to this, about four or 5 verses to this song. Again, maybe in the later verses they could have added something else to make it seem a bit different, like the song's kind of going somewhere. However, they kind of stayed the same. So that's my only fault with the track. Other than that, it is pretty brilliant. So I'm going to give this track a 9 out of 10. Nearly at the 10, but not quite. And then we get what is probably the weakest track on the album for me. This is the only song which I like it still, because I am going to give it more than a 5. So I do like this song. However, I don't like it that much compared to the other tracks on the album. This is 8-Line Poem. Much slower song with a really slow piano tune and Bowie singing again in this really slow, kind of dreary kind of vocal performance from him. Sounds like either he was drugged up as hell or he was falling asleep at the mic a bit. And really, I mean, the song itself just doesn't go anywhere. It just kind of goes at this same pace, and it's like, that's a bit disappointing, really, compared to the first 2 tracks. However, there is one thing which I really like about this song. I love the guitar work in it. However, that only comes in the last third of the album, of the song, sorry. So it's like, you kind of go through the first 2 thirds thinking, is it going to go anywhere? The guitar comes in, and while that's cool, it doesn't manage to save the song too much. However, I think it is still a good song, so I'm going to give it more than a 5. I still enjoy it. It's definitely not filler, I don't think. I think that the song fits on this album really well. However, you know, again, it is definitely a weaker one. It's kind of disappointing compared to other tracks on the album. I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. And then we get to another song which I'm pretty sure everyone knows. Life on Mars. I mean, come on. Do I need to say anything about this song, really? So, Bowie said that the lyrics are basically about a young girl's reaction to the modern day media. When I say modern day, obviously I mean back in 1971, not today. But you know, it's about her just that. I mean, when I was listening to this, I was trying to pick it up in the lyrics, and really I can kind of see where Bowie's coming from, but not at every point in the song. The lyrics are very fun, very wacky, but yeah, that's what Bowie said. It's about a young girl's reaction to the media. I guess I get that at some points in the song. So, but anyway, the song itself, you know, brilliant opening with this amazing piano kind of almost building up right at the start. Great vocals, probably Bowie's best vocal performance on the album. I love how the strings come in when they're building up for the chorus. You know, you can hear the cellos come in and stuff. It sounds fantastic. It really helps build the tension, and this song builds tension so well. And when you hear that hit that chorus, it is amazing. You know, you can really feel how much effort's gone into the making of this song. It's a 10 out of 10 track. Really is an amazing track. And then we get a track called Kooks. Kooks, yeah. I'm not sure if that's an actual word, but there we go. So I like this one, actually, how it opens up really well. It has a nice acoustic start, which really fits this. We really needed that at this point in the album. Because the first 4 tracks, Changes, Ooh You Pretty Thing, 8-Line Poem, and Life on Mars, all are very heavy piano-based tracks. Wow, that's great. They all fit really well with the piano. I think we're ready to hear something a little bit different. And while this song still has a nice piano part in it, nearer to about 3/4 of the way through, we get a very cool piano kind of almost solo in it. And while that sounds great, it's very nice to have a bit of a different feel to a song. So we have a very nice acoustic track here. With brilliant vocals, and again the doubling on the vocals when they hit the chorus part, and even at some points in the verses they even double up on the vocals. It sounds so good. It's a really fun song, definitely not quite as high quality as Changes or Life on Mars, but still a very fun song. Very wacky, I guess is how I'd describe it, very strange, but I love it. I'm going to give this track an 8 out of 10. So anyway, next track, closing side 1, last track of side 1. I think this is the longest track on the album. All of the tracks we've gone over so far about 3 to 4 minute tracks, really. This one's about 5 to 6. It's a bit of a longer track, Quicksand. But it's another track which starts off with a great acoustic kind of vibe to it, which again, still, I think we're in that process at this point on the album where we need that, 'cause the first 4 have all been piano-based. Slower start to the song with nice vocals over the top, which sounds really good. I like the pauses throughout the first kind of few verses, which kind of break it up a bit. And then the song just adds layer upon layer upon layer of more instruments, and it builds more and more tension. The vocals are great, the lyrics are pretty damn good as well. It's a very fun song, and this is what I like, you know. This is the difference between this song and the last album that I reviewed, Steve Winwood's self-titled album. Because whereas Steve Winwood's self-titled album was mainly made up of 6-7 minute tracks, they didn't go anywhere. They just kind of went at this same pace and nothing happened. Nothing was built on top of it. There was no cool solos. They were just very plain Jane long songs. This is a longer song, not quite as long as some of them, but it's a longer song where there's more added on, there's more tension built, there's a lot more going on. The song has a bit more of a direction. Really good song. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. I really like this track. And that's it for side 1. And overall, I'd say side 1 is pretty damn great, apart from 8-line poem. That one's a little bit wobbly, but other than that, the A side of this record, A star. So now we're moving on to the second side of the record, where we get a track opening up called Feel Your Heart, which is a very old-fashioned sounding song with a bit of a modern 70s twist on it. So it very much sounds like something you would have heard in the 40s, just with a bit more of a modern vibe to it, which is very interesting. I've never heard anything quite like this done before. It's got a very quirky piano beat to it. The most unique piano tune on this album, that's for sure, and there's a lot of unique piano tunes on here. Again, just a really fun, creative, catchy song. I really like it, so I'm going to give this track an 8 out of 10. Very good opener there. Then we get a track called Andy Warhol, and this is probably the strangest track on the album. So it flows straight in from Feel Your Heart. You know, Feel Your Heart kind of ends, and you can hear the piano still, and the piano and the guitar still dying down while the track Andy Warhol is starting. And of course, starts off with Bowie just saying Andy Warhol's name down the mic. I'm not sure what he's doing really. It sounds like his engineer's like, what track are we doing? And I think Bowie's kind of taking the piss out of him a bit, and Andy, Mr. Warhol, Andy Warhol, you know, he's just saying his name in all these different ways and voices, and then they all burst out laughing, and then boom, the song's on, the song is going. And of course the song about Andy Warhol, great inspiration to David Bowie, which is pretty good for a musician like Bowie to look up to, one of his heroes, I guess. So yeah, again, good acoustic song on here. Bit more of a faster track than previous acoustic tracks. Not a bad song, but it's not one of my favourites, this one. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. Then we get another track where he's kind of looking at one of his heroes, Song for Bob Dylan. So, song is for Mr. Bob Dylan, of course. We all know who Bob Dylan is, that guy who with the really rusty voice and who is an amazing songwriter. So similar feelings towards this song as the last song, really. The lyrics are really good, actually. Just him singing about Bob Dylan. I love some of the comparisons he uses, some of the metaphors as well that he uses for Dylan. I like the one where he talks about his voice sounding like sand and glue. I thought that was quite a good reference there. And, you know, it's got very good lyrics. I really like it. But, again, the song just kind of goes at that one pace where it doesn't change much. It's still a good song, but I just feel this one and Andy Warhol sound very similar, and they don't excite me like other tracks on the album do. But they're still good songs, so I still want to give them above 5s. So I gave Andy Warhol a 7. I'm going to give Song for Bob Dylan a 7 as well. And then we get on to a song called Queen Bitch. Now then, I know a lot of you who probably don't know Bowie as well, probably thinking, I've never heard of that song. Believe me, when you hear the guitar riff, you will know this track. This guitar riff has been used so many times. Everyone knows it's been used throughout adverts, movies. It's a very well-known song, and the guitar riff is incredible. I love, you know, the guitar sounds amazing, the timing, the pace of it, the tune, all brilliant. Bowie's vocals over the top are fantastic. Love everything about this song. It is a fantastic, perfect song. Queen Bitch, believe it or not, is going to get a 10 out of 10. And then that's it. We're already on to the last track. This is the... Oh, hang on. This is the Bowie brothers. I hope I'm saying Bowie right. I think it's Bowie. Is it not? No. Well, Bowie. I think it's Bowie brothers. I'm really sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. But anyway, this is a much slower start to this song. Really like how the song kind of builds up again. Now it's another longer track which kind of adds more, kind of like how side 1 closed with Quicksand. This one kind of builds more and more onto the song. It develops and it just ends this album brilliantly. It's like Changes was a fantastic opener to the album, and this track closes the album brilliantly. You know, not the best track on here though, so I'm not going to give it a 10 or a 9. It's not amazing level like some of the others on here. However, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. Really, really solid song there. So anyway, that's it for the tracks. Let's have a quick look at the vinyl. There's really not much to look over here. This is the repress, which you can tell because it is still in its plastic shrink. I didn't take the shrink off this one because it is not a gatefold. I bought this on the day that David Bowie sadly passed away because I knew I loved this album. I'd already owned the CD over there for quite some time. It was like, I can't keep waiting for an original to pop up. I just have to own this album now that he's gone. So I just went and bought the remastered vinyl. Which you can see the sticker down there saying it's remastered. So, but they have replicated it brilliantly. And I quite like the cover. I mean, just a bit odd. Suits the album, definitely. I like the back cover as well. That's pretty cool how the songs are all written out here. And yeah, the other information, you have to turn it that way to read. So you get a couple inserts in here. You get the lyrics to all the songs in case you want to sing along, I guess. And then you get a nice thick white sleeve to put the record in. However, that thick white sleeve doesn't have any lining, so I didn't put the record in it. I kept it in the one which it came in. Because it's safer. So there it is, and as you can see they have replicated the RCA label. Well, sort of. They sort of have. It's pretty close, I guess. As you can tell, nice 180 gram heavy vinyl there. It sounds fantastic, and it is beautifully pressed, And considering I think they put this one and the others that they released, I think Heroes, that one there, Lad Insane, this is one of the remastered Ziggy Stardust, as is this one, The Man Who Sold the World. I think they put these remasters out pretty quick because he died and they were like, oh, quick, we can get money here if we remaster them quickly. You know, I mean, they've done a great job considering I don't think they took their time. I think they kind of put these out really quick. But anyway, looking at the album artwork itself-wise, it's not a gatefold. I always like it when albums are gatefolds because you know, you get more stuff inside it. But yeah, it's not bad. I didn't really know how to score this artwork, to be honest, because it's a bit weird and wacky. But I guess I'll give it an 8. I'll give it an 8 out of 10. So anyway, David Bowie's Hunky Dory. Here we go. This is it. What's it going to get out of 10? You guys, I can tell you're all doing drum rolls, like just behind your computer screens right now. You're tapping your fingers on your desk. Anyway, this album is going to get out of 10 an 8.3. So anyway, before we go any further, we need to head over to the album ranking board and see where it does compared to other albums. So yes, here we are back over to the famous album ranking board. Famous. Anyway, here is the slip. David Bowie Hunky Dory there with an 8.3, and it's going to go in, scoring the same as Eric Clapton's new album, I Still Do. So I'm going to put it directly opposite that. There we go. There we go, and it's on the album ranking board right there, not doing too bad. Scoring the same as Eric Clapton's I Still Do, but being beaten out by Mudcrutch's self-titled debut album, Paul McCartney's second album, Ram, Eric Clapton's 2005 album, Back Home, and of course, one of my most favourite albums ever, Derek and the Dominoes' Later and Other Assorted Love Songs. However, I'll do this really quickly because there's quite a few albums on here now. It has managed to beat out Mudcrutch 2, Peter Gabriel's debut album, John Lennon and Yoko Ono Double Fancy, Lindsey Buckingham Go Insane, Paul McCartney's debut album, Phil Collins Hello I Must Be Going, George Harrison's 33 1/3, Phil Collins Face Value, Steve Winwood's Steve Winwood, The Electric Light Orchestra No Answer, The Who, Face Dances, and right down the bottom you can't even see it, John Lennon and Yoko Ono Sometime in New York City. So really it has come at least 2/3 of the way up the board, which is pretty damn good. So there we go, that is it. So David Bowie, ranking in an 8.3, the same as Eric Clapton's most recent album, I Still Do. And you guys know me, I am a massive Eric Clapton fan, so the fact that he's scoring, you know, the same as some new Eric Clapton stuff, because that's my sweet spot, really. is saying a lot. I know not a lot of people are agree with me there. They'll be thinking, you know, Bowie's going to much outrank Eric Clapton's new album. But for me, that's my sweet spot in music. Modern Clapton, I love it. So the fact he's scoring the same as that is incredible. And as I say, this isn't my favourite Bowie album, so I'm sure other ones, this one here, would even score higher than this and the new Eric Clapton album. So, hey, I mean, that's a pretty good score right there, really. But anyway, I've had a lot of fun reviewing this album. I'll be sure to come back with some more Bowie reviews at some point. I hope you guys have enjoyed it too. Please leave me... can't talk now. Please leave a message. Let me know what you guys think of the album. Hit the subscribe button, like the video, and, yeah, leave that message. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Change and face the strain.